Listen closely. The world will not clap because you want respect. It will test you, press you, and sort you. Every room carries an invisible ladder. If you show doubt, you are placed at the bottom and stepped on. If you move like a verdict, you rise without asking. This is not an appeal to fairness. This is an instruction manual for gravity. The title you chose is a standard you must wear. Even your enemies will respect you after this if you become impossible to ignore. Niccolo Machiavelli did not write to make men kind. He wrote to make them capable. He understood the rule behind rules. Power bends opinion, not the other way around. You were told to be agreeable so that other people could be comfortable. You were trained to bow to moods and let your ambitions wait backstage. Today, that ends. Respect does not arrive by prayer. It arrives when your actions announce that you cannot be moved by soft hands or loud voices. You want 7 moves, not slogans. Moves. Each is a blade you will carry in public, with the calm of a surgeon. They are not tricks or hacks. They are governing laws you rehearse until they replace your reflexes. When you finish, people may still dislike you, but they will have to measure themselves against you. They will lower their voices when your name enters the room. They will stop testing your edges, because edges cut. You will not be adored. You will be accounted for. That is respect in the wild. First, kill approval hunger. That hunger is the tax that keeps brilliant men poor in power. It makes you explain what needs no explanation and apologize for standards that are already reasonable. Approval hunger turns your yes into a leash and your no into a negotiation. End it with practice, not speeches. Pick one boundary that matters this week and enforce it without biography. When you decline an invitation, say, "I won't be joining." Period. Resist the urge to soften with explanations. Observe the panic in your chest. That is the addiction breaking. Tolerate being misunderstood without chasing anyone for permission to be yourself. Respect arrives when your choices are not for sale to the cheapest compliment. If someone demands a reason for your boundary, offer terms instead of feelings. Say what you will do and what you will not do. I'm available Thursday, 10 to 11 for decisions. Outside that window, I'm building. Make your calendar the villain so you can remain calm. Replace sorry with thank you unless you broke a promise. When you break a promise, repair it quickly and silently. People trust the man whose guilt does not become theater. You are not a customer service desk. You are a sovereign. Let your availability reflect that. Second, command your time like a general who expects war. Power respects schedules because schedules turn intent into output. Build mornings that begin before the world wakes and guard them like a gate. Move your body to remind your mind that you issue orders and obey them. List 3 decisive tasks and attack the ugliest one first. Do not wake up inside other people's plans by opening your messages. Make the world wait for your momentum. Soldiers follow banners. People follow your consistency. When you show up at the same hour, day after day, you become a landmark. Landmarks are hard to move and easy to respect. Install anti-chaos systems. Keep a written scoreboard where promises go to live or die. Review it nightly without drama. Use a shutdown ritual so that when work ends, rumination ends. Wear a watch, even if you do not need one. It is a reminder that minutes obey you. If someone constantly breaks your schedule, reduce their access instead of increasing your explanations. Respect your own calendar so loudly that others learn to respect it by imitation or distance. Third, speak last, speak little, and speak with edges. Noise rewards impulse. Power rewards precision. Practice a 2-second pause before every answer. 2 seconds is a throne. While others perform emotion, you will measure variables. Ask clarifying questions that cut fog. What does success look like in numbers? Who signs off by when? Most conflicts dissolve when the frame becomes measurable. In negotiations, let them talk themselves into revealing constraints. Summarize their position better than they can. Then, state your terms in one clean sentence. Silence afterward is a multiplier. Do not rescue people from your silence. Let them climb to meet it. Refuse debates that only evaluate your dignity. If someone drags the discussion into insults, end it with logistics. Say, if there's a concrete request, email it by 5. Otherwise, I'm moving forward. You never win a mud fight. You only get muddy. You win by keeping the ground made of facts and deadlines. When you must correct someone, do it privately. When you must praise, do it publicly. Your economy of words becomes a weather pattern. It cools heated rooms and warms cold ones. Fourth, control the frame or surrender the outcome. Frame is the set of assumptions that define which moves are allowed. Most people accept the default frame because they confuse politeness with wisdom. Change the frame to change the result without raising your voice. If someone tries to rush you, slow the tempo. Important decisions aren't made under timers. We'll decide Friday after we compare options. If someone demands you defend yourself, invert. Before I respond, clarify the objective standard we're using. If a meeting turns to gossip, upgrade the room. Let's list objectives and owners. Otherwise, we adjourn. The person who sets definitions sets destinies. You will feel resistance when you assert a frame, especially from those who fed on your passivity. Stay calm. Frames are best enforced with repetition, not volume. When the same boundary is tested twice, automate a response, a template email, a default clause in your contracts, a standard calendar link with limited slots. Remove improvisation from your defenses so you can save creativity for your offense. People call this cold. Machiavelli called it prudence. Fifth, become necessary economically, strategically, and emotionally. Competence earns attention. Indispensability earns deference. Pick a lane where your reliability would be expensive to replace. Study the boring fundamentals until you can execute under pressure without noise. Design checklists, templates, and dashboards so that your work scales cleanly. Show your receipts weekly. Delivered assets, resolved issues, measurable wins. Make people look better by standing next to you. That is how loyalty forms in adults. Do favors rarely and precisely. Do your job consistently and brilliantly. Become a category of one by combining skills others keep separate. Maybe you write and analyze data. Maybe you sell and design. Maybe you code and present. 2 good skills fused with discipline become a moat. Document your systems so others can follow them when you're not in the room. That is how authority survives absence. Indispensability is not grandstanding. It is quiet competence that makes refusal of your terms feel irrational. Sixth, master retaliation and restraint as twins. Do not react from ego. Respond from calculus. Create a ladder of consequence in advance so you do not improvise under heat. First rung, ignore with dignity. Second, clarify privately once. Third, reduce access. Fourth, document and escalate through formal pathways. Fifth, remove benefits, enforce clauses, deliver outcomes, never threaten. Either do it or move on. Threats are advertisements for hesitation. When you strike, strike cleanly and without gloat. You are not punishing to feel tall. You are correcting to protect standards. Restraint is as frightening as power because it reveals control. Let small minds throw sparks while you conserve fuel for decisive engines. When someone attempts public disrespect, refuse the stage. Answer once with terms, and then exit. If the environment is corrupt, walk. Leaving is not weakness. It is the ultimate enforcement when persuasion fails. The ability to leave buys you honesty, and honesty buys you sleep. Seventh, carry walk-away power like a quiet crown. You cannot command respect while begging for access. Design a life that survives. No, keep expenses low enough to choose. Build savings, build options, build portable skills. Maintain a network built on delivery, not flattery. Own assets you can move and projects you can continue without a particular gatekeeper. Practice saying that doesn't meet my terms. And step aside without malice. Every time you walk away from a bad deal, you teach the world how to negotiate with you. Do not perform these 7 moves like party tricks. Build them into bone. Write a private oath. I am governed. Then design. Proofs. A cold shower to choose discomfort. 10 pages of history to sharpen pattern recognition. A 3-item battle plan before touching your phone. 1 refusal delivered with calm. 1 difficult task finished ugly instead of delayed for perfect. 1 conversation where you let silence do the heavy lifting. By night, write a ledger. Promises made, promises kept, promises killed. This is not motivational fog. This is a civil code you will enforce on yourself until others feel it without being told. Expect phases of friction. Phase 1. Push back from those trained to feed on your softness. They will press old buttons. Do not argue with ghosts. Hold the new line quietly until their tactics expire from hunger. Phase 2. Accusations of arrogance from spectators who mistake certainty for cruelty. Do not flinch. Arrogance is claiming worth. Without work, you will have the receipts. Phase 3. Quiet compliance. People begin booking time on your terms and quoting your phrases back to you. That is earned gravity. You did, not demanded. You became it. Understand the mathematics of fear. Fear unmanaged becomes avoidance. Fear regimented becomes focus. You will keep fear on a leash named checklist. Ask what must be true for this to work. What is the smallest decisive move today? How do I cap the downside if I am wrong? What deadline forces action? Courage is measured in calendars, not captions. If you can diagram risk, you can act inside it. Once you begin, momentum does more persuasion than speeches ever will. There will be long stretches without applause. Good. Applause is a sugar high. Respect grows in the repetition others consider beneath them. Master boredom like a monk and intensity like a soldier. Combine the two until your routine feels like weather. Read while the kettle boils. Draft the offer before you check your feeds. Call the client who owes an answer. Rehearse your pitch out loud until the words land like stones. Place your phone in another room so your hands belong to your goals. Most people chase fireworks. You will build furnaces. Furnaces outlast weather. Presence is not vanity. It is strategy. Keep your environment clean so your brain can hunt. Keep your clothes intentional so your day feels authored. Train your body because strength advertises self-command. Enter rooms unhurried. Hold eye contact until they look away. Sit with your back straight and your voice low. Do not fill silences to relieve other people's anxiety. Arrive early. It signals that you respect time as a currency. Wear minimal symbols and maximal clarity. Let competence be your jewelry. You are not trying to impress strangers. You are building an internal state that produces external gravity. Gravity is competence repeated, consistency defended, and costs enforced. Competence means you can actually deliver. Consistency means you deliver whether or not you feel like it. Costs mean crossing you is expensive, and cooperating with you is rewarding. When these align, your name becomes a short way of saying, "This will get done." People may dislike your standards, but they cannot afford to ignore them. Beware the leaks. Over-explaining, oversharing, over-apologizing. Restrain your autobiography. Replace "I'm sorry" with "thank you," unless you failed an oath. Then apologize once and repair twice. Post fewer intentions and more outcomes. Let mystery do a portion of the signaling that your mouth used to do. Do not auction your principles for quick affection. Affection is cheap. Reputation is compounding. When you hold your standards without fanfare, you become the rare adult in rooms full of performers. When conflict arrives, choose the battlefield. Refuse to fight where the floor is made of gossip. Demand flaws made of dates, clauses, and metrics. Keep receipts. Document agreements. Use the calendar as a courtroom. End fights by finishing work. If you must end a relationship, end it without venom and with a written record. Do not carry grudges. Carry processes. Turn every injury into a checklist that prevents the next one. When people learn that hurting you buys them paperwork and consequences, not entertainment, they move carefully. Build alliances with professionals who treat promises like oaths. Warmth is pleasant but unreliable. Reliability is cold and priceless. Pay on time. Credit publicly. Correct privately. Keep confidences like a vault. Refuse to crowd the ethical line. Leave space. Your name is a crown. Never pawn it for a moment of clout. If accused unfairly, invite light. Strong reputations. Do not fear scrutiny. They feed on it. Then close the file and go back to work. Time turns rumor into confetti. Write private laws and keep them where you can see them. Examples. I do not chase people. I chase craft. I do not send a third reminder. I do not answer provocations the same day. I sleep like a professional. I leave rooms that require self-betrayal. Laws like these reduce the number of decisions you need to make. They turn chaotic landscapes into corridors. On bad days, you can still walk the corridor and look like a leader, even to those who disagree with you. Remember that mercy is a form of strategy. You do not have to bury every opponent to win. You only have to make opposition impractical. Offer paths back to order for those who correct themselves with receipts. Share credit widely. Open doors when it aligns incentives. Document forgiveness so it cannot be rewritten as weakness. Mercy without memory is naive. Mercy with memory is statesmanship. People talk. Let the story be that you are firm and fair. That mix is rare. Rarity is respected. You will lose. You will be doubted. You will be called cold by those warmed by your former compliance. Absorb it without ceremony. The archives of history are full of men who worshipped comfort and vanished. A smaller shelf holds those who chose difficulty and became references. A reference is the person others cite when they want results. Make your name stand for standards, delivery, consequences, and calm. That is what respect feels like when no cameras are on. Thread the 7 moves through an ordinary day. You wake early, train, study, and plan. You enforce one boundary without biography. You protect your schedule, finish one ugly task, and put numbers on the board. You speak once with weight. You document outcomes and let silence do unpaid work. You go to sleep boring and satisfied. Repeat until routine becomes identity, and identity becomes aura. Aura bends rooms. Rooms bend outcomes. Outcomes bend narratives. The world calls it luck. Your calendar calls it proof. Carry yourself like someone whose standards are older than a public opinion. Let the comfortable call you severe. Let the loud call you cold. While they debate tone, build leverage while they craft stories, craft systems, keep a lean circle and a heavy word. Be polite, brief, and gone. Choose the option that increases optionality and reduces dependency. When emotions spike, buy time with silence and sell decisions only after your pulse is slow. You asked for respect. The price is sovereignty. Pay it daily with refusals, routines, and receipts. Become the kind of person whose presence cools confusion and whose terms simplify chaos. Make your yes clean and your no silent. Enforce simple laws without spectacle. Leave places better than you found them, and leave the ones that have chosen decay. Carry ambition like a quiet engine, not a parade. Treat attention as a currency to invest, not a toy to chase. Even your enemies respect the person who can work while mocked, pause while pushed, and smile while enforcing terms. They respect the person who can leave. They respect the person who brings order when he enters, clarity when he speaks, and finality when he acts. Be that person. Build the systems that make courage cheap. Hold your standards high enough that even those who disagree must plan around them. Make it expensive to waste your time and rewarding to cooperate. And when they whisper in private, let the line be the one that matters. I don't like him, but I respect him. Here are field drills to anchor the 7 moves in muscle. Pick one drill per move and run it for 7 days. For killing approval hunger, practice one clean refusal per day. No biography, no apology. For commanding time, block 90 minutes each morning for deep work and protect it like royalty. For speaking with edges, use the 2-conned pause before answering every question. Write the question down. Answer in a single sentence. For framing, begin each meeting by stating the objective, the owner, and the deadline. If those are missing, reschedule. For indispensability, deliver one visible asset or metric every week that proves progress. For retaliation and restraint, write your consequence ladder and execute the next rung only after a night of sleep. For walkaway power, list 3 alternatives to your current path and take the first step on one of them this week. Respect has an equation. REQ =CKSN. Competence consistency standards divided by neediness. Increase competence through practice that hurts. Increase consistency by tying habits to time rather than mood. Increase standards by writing them and pricing access to you. Decrease neediness by building buffers, options, and the courage to leave. You do not control other people's feelings, but you do control your numerator and your denominator. When the ratio rises, rooms tilt in your favor without a speech. Play out micro-scenarios. A client asks for a discount at the last minute. You breathe, pause, and say, happy to revisit scope for a different price. The current offer stands until Friday. They push for urgency. You slow the tempo. Decisions age better after comparison. I'll send options by noon. A colleague undermines you in public. You note it. Finish the meeting with facts, then meet them privately. If there's feedback, bring it to me first. If it repeats, I'll adjust access. A friend demands energy you cannot spare. You reply, I can't this week. Sunday after 5 works. No stories, just terms. Terms teach people how to treat you. Close your eyes for a minute and rehearse a day lived under these laws. You wake before the noise. Your room is orderly. Your body obeys. You move through tasks like a blade through cloth. People try to pull you sideways. You remain on rails. Meetings bend toward objectives. Decisions compress into sentences. You end the day with a short ledger. Delivered, declined, designed. Tomorrow already knows your name. That is what respect feels like from the inside. Quiet and heavy. If you do this for 90 days, you will not need to announce anything. Your presence will announce you. Your enemies will stop playing small games because small games don't work on you. They will look for higher ground or they will leave. Your friends will trust your word because it does not wobble. Opportunities will move toward your cadence because chaos hates your corridors. You'll be accused of luck. Nod and keep moving. Fortune follows prepared audacity, and prepared audacity begins with sovereignty. Sovereignty begins with the 7 moves. Write the oath where you can see it. I act early. I act clean. I act again. I prize clarity over comfort, consequence over excuse, momentum over mood. I bend probability by preparing, pressing, and persisting. I am polite to people and merciless to my weaknesses. I never sell standards to buy relief. I move in, silence, until movement makes noise for me. 7 moves, 1 life. Walk now. Make each move tactile with microplays you can run in seconds. For the first move, when someone pressures you to explain a no, answer with a question that returns ownership. Which part of no feels unclear? The timing or the boundary? Then stop. When they argue, repeat the line once and change the subject. Repetition is a wall. Walls do not debate. If guilt rises, turn it into posture by standing up, taking a slow breath, and relaxing your jaw. The body teaches the mind. For the second move, schedule a daily non-negotiable called front load. 90 minutes where your phone is in another room and your door is closed. Set a timer. Start with the hardest task you can finish today. When the timer ends, record 1 sentence about what moved. This is how momentum becomes visible. If a crisis intrudes, ask, does it explode if unattended for 90 minutes? Most do not. Let the world's fake emergencies die without a funeral. For the third move, prepare. Phrases that buy clarity without heat. Before I answer, what exactly are we solving? What measurement will tell us we're done? Who has the authority to sign, carry a notebook, and write down their answers in front of them? People treat spoken fog like weather and written words like law. Then give 1 sentence. If they push for paragraphs, smile and repeat the sentence. Your economy will startle them because most men rent attention. You will own it. For the fourth move, bring frames wherever you go. At the start of a meeting, say, outcome owner, deadline. Let's assign all 3. In a negotiation, say we can move price, scope, or timeline. Pick 2 to flex. When someone tries to make you the defendant in your own life, say happy to evaluate performance after we define the standard. These phrases feel unnatural only until results begin to multiply. After that, nothing else will make sense. For the 5th move, design a visible product of your competence that updates weekly a dashboard, a case study, a shipped feature, a delivered chapter. Measure it, archive it, share it with stakeholders on a fixed day so they learn to expect steel from you. Document your processes as if a stranger must run them tomorrow. Teach your systems once and insist on adherence. Respect grows when your work survives your absence. If someone wants you forever, they must meet your price. For the sixth move, write your consequence ladder where you can see it. When step 2 fails, climb to step 3 without theater. If the situation escalates, your discipline is not a costume you wear for praise. It is the architecture that makes your life carry weight. Reframe common anxieties into commands. When you fear missing out, tell yourself, I am choosing mastery over novelty. When you fear being disliked, say, I am choosing standards over sugar. When you fear failure, say, I am buying the information that success costs. These reframes are not slogans. They are steering wheels. They remind your nervous system that discomfort is not danger. It is training. Install body habits that express governance without a word. Breathe through your nose. It slows your system. Plant your feet shoulder width when you speak. It roots you. Keep your hands still. Still hands signal. Still mind. Lower your voice at the end of sentences. It signals completion. Look at the person who interrupts you. Then return to the original speaker. It crowns order. Small cues compound into aura. Signals beat speeches. Be on time. Keep your word. Price your access. Finish what you start. Answer with numbers. Decline gossip. And be able to leave. Repeat these until they look like personality. Repetition builds fortress.